Hello everyone. Today I will be presenting PCR management in a SICS case. This was a case done by one of our fellows who landed up with rent during irrigation aspiration. Now you can see I am sweeping the iris repositor and you can watch the movement of iris with some vitreous strands visible in anterior chamber. So now I injected visco in the anterior chamber because all manipulations will protect endothelium. Now I made another side port to do bimanual anterior vitrectomy. It is always recommended to do bimanual anterior vitrectomy because in that case you would have a closed chamber and less of vitreous prolapse. You can see there is some movement of the iris towards the main incision and I am moving my cutter slowly. The direction of the cutter should be facing upwards. If you are facing it downwards, probably you will pull more vitreous. And now you can see I am doing vitrectomy along the wound, as sometimes, or I would say most of the times, whenever there is a PCR, there is a lot of vitreous in the anterior chamber with some amount of vitreous prolapsing through the wounds. Now I am exchanging hands to do the vitrectomy because there was some vitreous coming out through the side port as well. Now you can appreciate some amount of peaking in that area. I went little below the iris to break that track which was coming from vitreous cavity to the side port. I tried to cut that vitreous with the help of cutter. Now you can see I am moving in that direction slowly. Your movement should be slow so as not to pull the vitreous, to cut the vitreous. Now you can see some amount of peaking is there. With iris repositor, I sweep that vitreous into the anterior chamber, and now you can watch the pupil is circular. So again, I would go with the cutter in my left hand and irrigation in my right hand. I am trying to cut that vitreous which was prolapsing through the side port. It is always important to cut that vitreous because if you don't cut the vitreous from the ports, your wound won't close and it would be a leaky anterior chamber and you will have hypotony and maybe vitreous can be seen next day also in the anterior chamber. So after doing the complete vitrectomy, I was sweeping iris repositor. Now there was no vitreous left, as you can see that it was a circular pupil and no vitreous in anterior chamber. So now at this point I decided to check for the rhexis margins, and as you can see I left the rhexis margins were visible, and as per the operating surgeon also the rhexis was intact but the rent occurred during irrigation aspiration. So once I was sure of rhexis margins, I decided to implant IOL 3-piece in the sulcus. Again injecting visco in anterior chamber. Since when you land in rent, obviously your manipulations are more. Now you can see I am implanting the IOL. The point you have to take care is that you have to implant just beneath the iris in the sulcus, and now the leading haptic is in the sulcus. Now with the help of Sics hook I am depositing the trailing haptic. After engaging the lens, see how I shifted that lens to one side and now both the haptics are in sulcus. Now with the help of dialer I am trying to reposit my lens nicely in the center, and as you can see the IL was in the sulcus nicely centered. Visco wash was done with the help of Simcoe's cannula. once you do a good vitrectomy, you can always implant your IOL in sulcus. The only time you face difficulty is when there are leftover vitreous strands, because that prevent your IOL being centered, and most of the times if there is a leftover vitreous, the pupil is not circular, there is some amount of peaking, and the IOL generally shifts to one side because of the vitreous present on the other side. So finally, closure of the wound by hydro, and after this intracameral moxie was injected and the wound was closed by hydro. These are the pictures of the first post-op day. You can see the IL is well centered. Thank you for watching this video. For any queries, you can mail me at Ashish Mitra 14 at gmail.com.